shot! Dishes off to Jones, kicks it out to Aaron Martin, 4 seconds. Oh my goodness! He makes the three.
You kidding me, Aaron Martin?
Well, hello and welcome to Wildcat Week. I'm Roger Alcock. Now, the indoor track and field season, it's underway, and here with me to talk about track and field is junior Michaela Mertz and senior Michael Moffitt. So, guys, thanks for coming on in. Usually this time of year, we're just kind of so immersed in basketball, but there are other things going on, and indoor track and field's one of those things, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, Michael, I think you're in one of those weird situations where I think you're in your senior year, but you still have 2 years of indoor track remaining. What is the difference, if there is, for you, I guess, between the outdoor season and the indoor season? Does that affect what you do?
Definitely. I would say indoor season is more of a tune-up for outdoor season. I know for me personally, a lot of my meets I'm training through, so I'll skip across a couple meets. I'll compete every other week. Indoor season and outdoor I'll more do every week, just to make sure we have more of our goals for our team are outdoor oriented. So it just makes more sense to use indoor as like a training session, and then outdoors when you really have to hit the weights harder.
Just even on a practical side or on the elements, what's the difference between jumping indoors and outdoors? Because indoors, you have that controlled environment.
I mean, there's pros and cons to that. Indoor, you don't have to worry about like wind, coldness, heat, but at the same time, some facilities are bigger than others, and so I'll have to use a shorter approach because I'll run into the track or like during running events.
Okay.
And also there's different surfaces, so some tracks are faster, some tracks are slower. And outdoors just kind of, you're more used to whatever comes your way, you just kind of deal with it, but indoors a little more controlled.
Now, Michaela, indoor is different for you than outdoor. As a sprinter, the distances are different. So is it similar for you, kind of a tune-up for the outdoor season?
Oh, definitely. Coaches say that we never focus on indoor. Our main goal is the end season, which is outdoor. And so for me, indoor, I'll be running anywhere from the 60-meter to 4x4 DMR. And when it comes to outdoor, I'll be doing, hopefully not, but in the past I've done the 100. Hopefully I'm focusing more on 200, 400 in the relays this year.
Okay, so, but similar to what Mike was saying, elements are different. You sure wouldn't want to be outside right now this time outside?
Absolutely not. No, we love it when it gets warm outside. We don't have to wear any Under Armour outfits. And while we're inside, we don't have to do that as well. And it's just, we don't have to worry about weather. We don't have to worry about wind, especially. It's really nice not to have that.
Track and field's one of those sports where obviously you have your individual events, and you say you do some relays, but so you have these individual goals, but you're also competing as a team, and you have a lot of team goals. And this, at Indiana Wesleyan, I know Coach Foss really stresses team a lot.
Right.
What are you guys doing right now in terms of like some of your individual goals, and what are maybe some of your team goals for indoor track season?
Well, I would definitely say we're always working to keep ourselves healthy. That's definitely the main goal. We're always praying for that, Lord, like please bless us with a healthy season above anything. And then we work on definitely bettering ourselves. We come out and we practice hard every single day, and we eat right and we get enough sleep. Individual goals for indoor, I would say, is hopefully this weekend we're going to qualify for nationals in the DMR and maybe break school record. That would be nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, outdoor, I would definitely say the goals definitely change.
Yeah. Even with indoor, we're kind of still looking towards outdoor, just building ourselves up to prepare for conference, which is like winning conference is kind of a goal for the guys every year we're trying to accomplish. But just socially as a team, I feel like this team is really close. And we haven't really had that close as I felt in the last couple of years, not for any reason in particular, but I know my freshman year, coming in from basketball to track, I felt really welcome. We had a really solid group of seniors, and it was probably the most fun I've had on any sports team ever. And I feel like we're kind of getting back to that again, and that was also the last time we won conference. So I feel like just socially, everyone's really supporting each other in practice, even if they're like not in the same training group or anything like that.
All right, well, guys, first of all, thanks for coming out and joining us and talking a little track and field, and hopefully be warming up soon. We'll see you outside, but good luck, not only in this indoor season, but when you head outside, and I'm sure we'll be talking a lot more about that as the year gets to that point, we'll finish up Wildcat Week this season with some more track and field.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks again for coming on in. Well, when we come back, we'll see how the Lady Wildcat basketball team played against Spring Arbor University, and the women's head coach, Steve Brooks, will be joined by junior Kelsey Key. They talk about a big matchup again against Goshen. So stick around. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back to Wildcat Week. The women's basketball team, they traveled to Spring Arbor University to take on the Cougars. Past Saturday, January the 30th, it was not a good day for the Wildcats. Well, the first half alone featured 8 ties and 5 lead changes. A three-pointer by senior Carly Cottrell with 3 minutes left in the first quarter gave IW a 12-8 lead. Now, the 4-point lead was the largest of the first half for either team. Spring Arbor headed, though, into the halftime, leading 25-24. The Cougars, though, raced out to a 14-2 run to open up the third quarter, and that spurt gave them a 13-point lead at 39-26. Spring Arbor took that 13-point lead into the fourth quarter. And early in the quarter, the Lady Wildcats used an 8-0 run to close within 5 points at 45-40. But after both teams traded baskets, the Cougars used a 7-0 run to extend their lead to 54-42 with less than a minute and a half remaining. The Lady Wildcats couldn't catch back up as they were defeated by the Cougars by a final score of 62-47. IW shot only 39.6% from the field and only 16.7% from beyond the arc. Leading the way, though, for the Wildcats, junior Kelsey Key with 15 points. Carly Cottrell chipped in 10 points as well. I'm joined now by the women's head basketball coach, Steve Brooks, and junior Kelsey Key. And Coach, we're going to talk really briefly about Spring Arbor, then we'll move on. But a strength of your team has been field goal percentage and three-point shooting. You not only usually get good shots, you've been hitting shots, and for whatever reason against Spring Arbor, couldn't throw it in the ocean, as they say.
Right.
Just one of those nights, or is there an explanation for that kind of stuff?
I wish we had an explanation. We had really good practice on Friday, and I thought the mood and the attitude coming in off of the loss to Marianne was, you know, I thought the kids handled it really well, and I thought we were ready to play, and we just came out and we missed some easy buckets that we, you know, normally make. But then they got on a roll, and we just didn't have an answer, and they took it right at us, and the result was what it was. We got beat, and they played harder than we did. They played the big possessions better than we did, and there's not a whole lot more to say about it than that. Now,
Kelsey, as a player, it's obviously, you know, coaches coach, players play, but you guys kind of know the routine here. This is a team, a program that used to winning and competing for championships, all this kind of stuff. So there's a little bit of pressure there, isn't there? And you guys had to respond against Goshen. I think you did that pretty well.
Yeah, I think we bounced back pretty well, and we just prepared really well, and we just came in and we just knew that we needed it for ourselves that game. And I think the mood was well, and we stayed together after the Spring Arbor loss, which is what you want to do after a loss like that. And we just knew that we needed to come out, and we did that.
We're going to talk now about that Goshen game because, there's probably no perfect game. No one's perfect. But that first half of basketball, I thought you guys put together as good as we've seen, at least at home, on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, I mean, we ended up with 38 points there. Chelsea made a nice little move, 15-footer. In the first game when they beat us, we didn't do a great job on the boards. We gave them second shots. Last night, Kels got her hand on it, and a nice lead pass and leads to a layup. You know, we've been a team that traditionally has been able to get stops, and the last couple of games that wasn't happening on a regular basis, but last night we got good stops, and then the offense clicked at the same time and gave us a chance to have the half that we had. It was, you know, when you hold Goshen to 13 points, I think we held them to almost 19 points under their season low, not even their average. So it was a heck of an effort for us defensively. So.
And Kelsey, as a player on the floor, it's not easy holding a team like Goshen. 13 points. They're big, they're physical, but yet they're athletic. You really got to dial in and focus in, don't you?
Yeah, we talked a lot about communication going into this game, and I think we did a really good job communicating on the floor, especially on the defensive end. People were in their gaps, people were talking, and we were moving on the ball last night, so it was a fun half to play on the defensive end for us.
You know, Coach, I don't know that Michelle King scored it all in that first half or not, but I thought she had a great first half. Really physical, inside scrapping, keeping rebounds alive, that kind of stuff. And those things don't stand up or show up in the stat sheet, but I thought she did a nice job.
Yeah, she really did. She gave us a lot of positive energy. She's a great communicator on the floor. And then, like you said, she is by far one of our toughest kids, and she handled their physical play really well. So.
Well, now as we, kind of winding up this first quarter, even one of the things I thought, Kelsey, big shot there. Even when Goshen got something going positive, the entire game, you never let them get a run. You never let them get 2-3 possessions in a row. You always had an answer for them.
And against a team like that, they are definitely a streaky team, and if you let them get going, you have a hard time shutting it down. And we did a good job of not letting them get 2 or 3 buckets in a row to where they, felt like, okay, we're back in this, and that was big.
Yeah. Now in the second half, we saw Kelsey hit some threes earlier in the first half. Anna's doing some good things offensively. Chelsea had a solid game. Carly hits the 3 here. I thought you really kind of put Goshen in a position where, they didn't know who to try to stop.
Well, and ideally, that's big for us. Mm-hmm. We need to have balance. Mm-hmm. And I think last night we had 4 kids in double figures or 3 in double figures and a couple that were really close. And when we play offense like that, it becomes a lot more difficult for the opponent. So,
how big was it? Or I don't know, this time of the year, there's 5 or 6 conference games left. It's a long season. So for a conference game to be able to go that deep in your bench, I think that was pretty big positive for you guys yesterday.
Against that quality of opponent,
yeah.
And to get a chance to play everybody was big. Especially after the last couple of weeks that we've had. Everybody, our freshmen went in there and really competed. And that's, it's exciting for me to watch and to see that kind of effort out of our younger kids as well.
Kelsey, you're a junior now.
Yep.
And, been in this program now for a year plus. We're starting to see you kind of take a little bit more of a leadership role on the floor as well, and scoring maybe a little bit more than I think we knew last year. It's like Kelsey can score the basketball, but
we didn't know if she could bend her knees and get in a defensive stance.
Well, that's where I was kind of going. It's like, isn't that kind of the biggest transition? Because defense is what you got to play here, Indiana Wesleyan, and you're starting to. I think you're getting more comfortable in that role than maybe you were that first year.
Yeah, I'm starting to get a lot more comfortable on the floor. I love playing with the girls that I get a chance to play with. And like you said, the balance on this team is unreal, honestly. Anyone can have a big night for us. So, but yeah, defensively, I'm a lot more confident this year. Coach has done a good job with that. I'm just gaining a lot more confidence on the defensive end.
And what Coach mentioned, it sets a good example for the younger players. And like he said, some of the freshmen got in last night. I thought did a good job executing.
Oh yeah.
And we saw Katie with a nice drive. Michaela do some good things. Anna, she's a sophomore now, but showing that they're not really freshmen anymore.
No, and you get to this point in the season, and I've had individual meetings with all of them, and Katie's probably made, and I told her this, she's probably made the most improvement of anybody on our team from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. Nicole, Michaela, all those kids have made progress. And that's as a coach, that's what you're hoping for. At the same time, we got to make sure our team is trying to improve as well as a group. And last night was definitely a step in the right direction based off of what had happened the previous 2 weeks. All
right. Well, guys, thanks for coming on in. And Kelsey, thanks for joining Coach today. We're trying to spotlight a few more student athletes this week in Wildcat Week. So it's good to have you here. Well, don't go away, or excuse me, let's talk about what's coming up next for the Lady Wildcats. They travel to Bethel, big game on the road to take on the Pilots Saturday, February the 6th at 1 o'clock. And then certainly we'll be talking about that one next week. Well, when we come back, we'll look at some highlights of the men's game against Spring Arbor and Goshen, as we're joined by Greg Tonigal, along with junior Lane Mahiran, talk about some men's basketball. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back to Wildcat Week. The men's basketball team hosted the Cougars of Spring Arbor University in Lucky Arena on Saturday, January the 30th in a Crossroads League matchup. But an early start for the Wildcats, an 18-2 run, put the game out of reach really right off the bat. The Wildcats led 24-6 at one point. Now they built a 43-22 lead on a basket by junior Aaron Murray. And after players scrambled to get the ball with less than 4.5 minutes to go, here in the opening half, there you see Aaron laying it up and in. Now Spring Arbor, they did close out the first half on a 13-4 run to close the deficit to 47-35 at the half. So the Cougars did work their way back into the ball game, but Indiana Wesleyan scored the first 10 points of the second half and led by a game-high 22 points, 57-35 with under 10 minutes to go. Spring Arbor went on a mini run, 12-0, narrowed the deficit to 65-58. Leading now just by 7 points, the Wildcats went into Lane Mahiran, who took the game over for the Wildcats. He scored 13 points in the final 6 minutes as IW led by 15 and came away with the 15-point victory. Now the number 5 ranked Wildcats won by a final score of 88-73. Leading the way, as we mentioned, was Lane Mahiran. Finished the game with 31 points, was just 1 point shy of his career high. Johnny Marlin chipped in with 18 points as well for the Wildcats. Well, joining me now is coach of the Wildcats, Greg Tonigal, and Mr. Lane Mahiran. We have to call you Mr. now because I was telling Coach a little factoid. Kyle Schmidt gave us, I think you're the first Wildcat in at least 13 years to have 20 points in 5 consecutive games. Did you know that?
I didn't know that, but I found out after the last game.
So, Coach, I know you want to get the ball inside the lane to Josh and different guys. It's just a streak right now where they seem to be producing.
It's not just inside the lane; it's outside.
Yeah.
It's in between. He just needs the ball on each possession, and I think his teammates have done a good job of finding him, and he's playing aggressive.
And this is not a fluke now, as we see 5 consecutive games. We're finding that good balance inside, outside. That's got to help players like Johnny Marlin, Bob Peters, your guard play as well.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing I think Lane's doing well is he's not forcing, and he's making good decisions. He's not turning it over. So he's really, our offense has taken off as he's taken on the more aggressive approach and demeanor.
Lane, Coach mentioned that you're shooting from the perimeter a little bit more. We even see sometimes kind of pulling up off the break, shooting 3, but you're shooting that with a lot of confidence right now. Is that something you kind of worked on over the summer?
Well, I actually had a lot of summer days with this guy right here, and I practiced a lot by myself in the summer and with Coach Mercer, but the days I spent with him made me feel a lot less confident in my shot because I see him just walk in the gym, and he really put the work on me and outshot me every time, and most of the time he wasn't even in basketball clothes, but you know, he's worked with me a lot. Coach Mercer worked with me a lot. I put some time in, and really the coaches just keep giving me confidence every week.
Let's move along now, talk about the game on the road after Spring Arbor win. You went on the road, take on Goshen. We're going to take a look at some highlights here. And Goshen, an improved team. They play people tough at home. And this was a game, again, where you had Lane working inside, you had Johnny playing good, but also Bob Peters playing pretty well in this game.
Yeah, the big 3 for us put up some big numbers. We almost had 3 guys in 20 or more points, which I don't think's ever happened since I've been coaching here. And we really moved the ball well in this game. We got off to a great start, and that kind of pushed us forward.
Well, I know that was a key against Spring Arbor, also against Goshen. Good starts in these games, not just only first couple minutes, but the whole first half.
Yeah, I mean, when you're on the road, you have to establish yourself, and this team did that early on. The thing I was most proud of, they did it defensively. We came out and We got an offensive foul early with Lane. That really set the tone. We didn't give up any offensive rebounds early, so we were setting the tone that it was going to be one and done. And then I think from there, our offense kind of flowed and gained its confidence.
You mentioned the big three. Your bench has been really solid for you this year, so you get good contributions there. But between Lane, between Johnny, and between Bob, 67 points. I don't know if we've had 3 players in any game account for that kind of scoring just from 3 guys.
Yeah, and they all 3 did it, without taking a lot of shots. I mean, they all were very efficient, all shot well above 50%, and they were trying to help each other out and make their teammates better, and as a result, they themselves saw some success.
Now, Goshen, team, talented team. They've got some guys who can, who can score. It made it a little bit interesting, then, guys, and hit some big shots, make a little bit of run at you. But I think from what I followed, you got some big stops defensively when you had to, and then there's a nice shot there by Bob Peters.
When we needed it, I thought Lane came through defensively. He was very active. Bob hit a dagger. Josh Maywar, you saw earlier, had a nice roll and a throwdown dunk, and we built that big lead. They fought, and then we kind of finally put an end to it at some point.
There's a great follow there. Now Lane, we kind of talked about your ability to score, and there's Chase getting the 3 there, but you got to be playing with a lot of confidence right now, but not only confidence yourself, but confidence that if you draw a double team or something like that, these guys are really shooting from the perimeter well.
Oh yeah, I feel like we have too many weapons on the floor. If someone wants to double team me, I think they're really just picking their poison at that point, because you surround me with Johnny Marlin, Bob Peters, Grant Evans, Josh Maywar, all guys who are shooting crazy high percentages from 3, and no one wants to leave them open. But if you have to bring one to help in the post, it's just leaving someone open.
I said Chase, I meant Grant. We used to have a Chase Evans here.
I was wondering who you're talking about.
Well, big win on the road. It's always good to get a road victory in conference play, because you've said it, and we've known it, whether it's a men's side or women's side in the conference, there's no easy wins. And so to get one on the road, that's big, because you've got a big win, or excuse me, a big game coming up against Bethel here at home on Saturday. And that Bethel's, they're probably playing some of the best basketball they played all season long.
Yeah, and I think we bring out the best in Bethel. They're always great games, extremely competitive, played at a high level. Everybody knows about Clay Yo, but they've really filled in nicely with some other guys who have stepped up from lesser roles last year and have made them, a top 10 team that they are.
The other thing with that game against Bethel, you're only a game behind St. Francis for the conference chase. St. Francis, pulling out some big wins at home. You'll face them one more time, but that's a win. If you want to be in that spot to win a regular season championship, you got to win maybe from here on out.
Yeah, I mean, we're obviously not thinking about that or looking ahead. I think there's 6 games left, and obviously the biggest one is on Saturday. And you can't get in this league. You can't look ahead, because it'll catch up with you. You can only play your best and let the results take care of themselves.
Now, one of the things I wanted to ask Lane about was, we touched on it just a little bit earlier, but the fact that I think early in the season you guys were just on fire offensively. I think we found out you had to play some pretty good defense too. Some teams who were maybe slowing you guys down. How do you feel right now your team is performing on both ends of the floor?
I think it kind of goes a little week by week, which has to frustrate Coach, because I know they prepare us well, but sometimes our team can get a little bit heady and focus on the wrong things mentally. But when we come together and we click, we're really good, and offensively, defensively. A lot of times we try to draw our energy from offense, but when we can play really great defense, we're kind of a scary team.
All right. Well, again, thanks for coming on in, guys. We'll look forward to seeing you on Saturday against Bethel in that really big basketball game. Well, as we mentioned, obviously, the next game up for the Wildcats is they host the number 9 ranked Pilots, so a matchup of top 10 teams. It'll be in Lucky Arena Saturday, February the 6th at 3 o'clock. Well, that's all we have for you this week on Wildcat Week. If you have any comments or suggestions about our show, we'd like to hear from you, and you can write us here at the station, WIW-TV 4201 South Washington Street, Marion, Indiana 46953, or you can visit our website, wiwtv.com. You can watch past episodes and connect with us there online. That's at wiwtv.com. Well, we look forward to being back with you next week. So for all of us here, thanks for watching Wildcat Week.